Liana sat at the kitchen table, the morning sun streaming through the window, illuminating the silence that had settled in their home. She stared at her coffee, the steam curling up like the thoughts swirling in her mind. The calendar on the wall was marked with days and times, dates for doctor's appointments, reminders for family gatherings, and meetings with friends. Everything was scheduled. Spontaneity had become a distant memory. Her husband, Nick, walked in, his expression tight and weary. "Do you have any idea what time it is?" he snapped, checking his watch. He was dressed sharply, as always, but today there was a dullness in his eyes. "I know," Liana replied softly. "I was just about to make breakfast." "Just like that? Scheduled breakfast?" he muttered, frustration seeping into his tone. "Everything's always a checklist for you." Liana felt her chest tighten. "It's not like that. We have responsibilities." "Responsibilities?" he scoffed, leaning against the counter. "You mean planning for a child, right? That's all this is for you." Her heart sank. Nick had been distant lately, and these comments were becoming routine. "It's not just about that," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "I want us to be a family. Do you even want to be with me?" His question hung in the air, sharp and accusing. "Of course I do," she replied, though doubt crept in. Was their marriage just a series of scheduled obligations? Days passed, each one blending into the next, filled with the same unspoken tension. Liana began to notice subtle changes in Nick. He spent more time away from home, claiming work demands. But something gnawed at her, a feeling of unease that she couldn't shake. One evening, after a particularly exhausting day at work, Liana decided to surprise Nick. She planned to make his favorite dinner, hoping to rekindle some warmth between them. As she chopped vegetables, her phone buzzed with a message from a mutual friend. "Did you hear about Nick and Claudia?" Liana felt a chill wash over her. Claudia? The friendly coworker who had often joined them for dinner parties. Her heart raced as she texted back. "What do you mean? Rumor has it they've been seeing each other. Nick's been spending a lot of time at the office." A wave of nausea rolled through her. Liana tried to dismiss it as gossip, but a dark intuition festered inside her. The dinner remained uneaten as she waited for Nick to come home. When he finally walked in, the weariness on his face was replaced with something more guarded. "Hey," he said, avoiding her gaze. "Hey, I made your favorite," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "Not hungry," he replied curtly, grabbing a bottle of water and heading to the living room. "Nick," she called after him, her heart pounding. "Can we talk?" He hesitated, then sank onto the couch. "What's there to talk about? We've been over this. Are you seeing Claudia?" The words spilled out before she could stop them. His expression hardened. "What are you talking about?" "I heard you've been spending time with her," Liana pressed, feeling both anger and desperation rising. He shifted uncomfortably, his silence speaking volumes. "Nick, just tell me the truth." Finally, he looked her in the eyes. "You don't understand how tired I am. This marriage feels like a prison. Everything is scheduled, and it's suffocating. I need time alone." Liana's heart shattered. "So, you're cheating on me?" "It's not just that," he replied, his voice barely a whisper. "You're only focused on the future, kids, schedules, obligations. There's no room for us. I thought we were building a life together," she cried, tears spilling down her cheeks. He stood, a mixture of frustration and sorrow etched on his face. "I'm moving out. I need space." "Nick, please don't," she begged, desperation clawing at her. "If you walk out that door, our marriage is over." He paused, looking torn. But then, he turned away. "I'm not in a good place, Liana. I need to figure things out." With that, he grabbed a few belongings and walked out, leaving Liana standing alone in the dim light of the living room. The weight of finality heavy in the air. Days turned into weeks. Nick checked into a hotel, and Liana's life spiraled into chaos. She found herself in an empty house, the silence amplifying her heartbreak. She reached out to friends, trying to fill the void, but nothing seemed to ease the pain. Then one evening, as she sat on the couch, scrolling through her phone, she stumbled upon a photo of Nick and Claudia, laughing together at a bar. The betrayal stung deeper than any words. Liana felt anger rise within her, followed by a resolve. This wasn't the life she wanted. She had loved him fiercely, but she deserved more than a marriage driven by obligation. With a deep breath, she picked up her phone and called a divorce attorney, ready to reclaim her life. In that moment, Liana realized that sometimes letting go was the only way to find peace. The relationship that had once promised a future had become a chain, and now she was ready to break free.
Romance Unscripted.